Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Today, I am going to be sharing my review of the starter set for Fallout, the role-playing game from Modifius Entertainment. This is written by Donathan Fry, Nathan Dowdle, and Sam Webb, with artwork provided by Mikhail E. Cross. The box set carries an MSRP normally of $34. Right now, you can get it on sale for right about $23 if you order it from Modifius Entertainment in celebration of the Fallout series. And of course, you can grab just the PDF over at Drive-Thru RPG. Normally, that's $12. Right now, it is $8.04. I should mention, we do have written reviews of the starter set as well as the core rulebook for Fallout, the role-playing game, over at thegaminggang.com, but I did not personally review these. So what I thought I would do as a way to mark the release of the Fallout series is share my reviews of both the starter set and the core rulebook. So keep your eyes peeled. I'll be sharing that core rulebook review very shortly. All right, all that said, let's swing on over to the other camera, because here I've got the starter set for Fallout, the role-playing game. A few things to mention before we get stuck in. First of all, my friends over at Modifius Entertainment were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this review with you. These days, it's important you know that. We're also not going to look at each and every page of the two booklets that come with the starter set, but I do want to give you a very good feel for what you're going to find inside this box. I'm also not going to get into all the minutia about the system, but I am going to give you a pretty thorough overview of the game mechanics for Fallout, the role-playing game. Lastly, there is a 60-page adventure which is contained within. If you're a player and your game master has picked this up and maybe they just haven't run the introductory adventure yet, maybe they're considering picking this starter set up, by all means, as a player, I recommend tune out when I get to the adventure. Even though it's going to be spoiler-free, there are going to be some spoilers that you will see as I flip through. So you don't want surprises ruined because you watched this review. But of course, if your game master is considering picking this up, let them know about the video, so that way they can approach this starter set and make an informed buying decision. All right, let's jump on in. First thing I want to mention is even at the regular MSRP, this starter set is packed with value. Right now, with a sale price of right about $23, depending on exchange rates, from Modifius Entertainment, that is a smoking deal, everybody. Just letting you know. And $8.04 for the PDF, also a rocking deal. So inside the box, you're going to get 3 custom 20-sided dice, as well as 4 custom 6-sided dice. I will talk about the dice in more detail in a bit. We also have, I might as well just take everything on out of here. We have a punch board with Nuka-Cola caps, which of course is the currency in the wasteland. So we've got denominations of 1 and 5. They're dual-sided as well. I will mention I would have liked to have seen these tokens been the player characters and NPCs and creatures that you're going to encounter in the adventure. But it is what it is. It's just the caps. So not that huge a deal, but like I said, I would have liked to have seen this be the NPCs and PCs and creatures and so forth. We also get 6 pre-generated characters. These are on cardstock, so this isn't just paper, so these will hold up very nicely. If you're familiar with the Fallout video games, then you'll know all about special, which are the attributes. So we have strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. And we also have skills. So the skills are fairly broad, but we also have ranks in the skills. We also have tagged skills, which are important skills for that character. So we have 6 different archetypes to choose from with the pre-gens. We have a Vault Dweller, we have a Survivor, we got a Super Mutant, a Ghoul, we have a Mr. Handy, as well as a Brotherhood of Steel Initiate. And each of these character sheets are going to show our attributes, our skills, our combat hit locations, as well as the weapons, what ammo we have, if we have a weapon that uses ammunition, as well as how many caps we've got, our different gear, our perks and traits. And the perks and traits are really what's going to make your player character stand out and be unique. Of course, you may recall the various different perks from the video games. Then we get a biography as far as the character itself. So this does utilize the 2D20 system, which powers many of the Modifius Entertainment role-playing games. And what you're going to do is if you're looking to perform a task, it's called a test. So in order to pass the test, normally you will have 2 20-sided dice. What you're going to do is you're going to utilize your skill, and you're going to add the accompanying attribute to the rank of that skill. And then you're going to roll 2 20-sided dice, looking to roll equal or lower than that number. So as an example here, let's say with Augusta Byron, who is our Vault Dweller, they need to utilize athletics. So they have a strength of 4, rank of 1, so you're looking at 5. So you'd roll your 2 20-sided dice. Oh, we actually got a success. Very nice. So we would have 1 success now. We do have critical successes, which is on a 1, which has a custom face, which will count as 2 successes. So we did roll, what was it, a 3? So that'd be 1 success. Now, the Game Master is going to determine the difficulty rank of that test. Now, it could be 0, which you won't even roll dice for it because it's fairly easy to achieve, all the way up to 5, which is nigh impossible. So the majority of the time, you're looking at about a 1 or 2 as far as the number of successes you need to roll. Now, there are different ways for you to earn additional dice to roll. In fact, you can roll up to 5 to succeed at a test. And there are also ways for you to re-roll dice as well. I'll talk about that in just a bit. So here we've got our pre-generated characters. I really wish we had images of the characters, though. Although we do get the image of Mr. Handy. Everybody else, pretty much a Pip-Boy. But I also like the fact that these are on cardstock. So these will hold up very, very nicely. So let's take a look at the rule book. And of course, with most starter sets, you do not have rules in a starter set for creating characters. That is also the case here. So one thing I do like about this is if you are new to role-playing games, let's say maybe you were just watching the Fallout series and you thought, hey, you know what? I'd love to pick up the role-playing game. I hear there's a role-playing game, even though I've never run a role-playing game. You'll get some introductory information here, not only aimed at players, but also for game masters. Now, of course, if you're a veteran of role-playing games, you're just going to skim right past that. But there is useful information here for newbies to the hobby, which I really like. So we're going to get into our rules. We're going to get into our various different skills, talking about what do these skills represent. So like as an example, we've got barter, which utilizes charisma, and it's for buying and selling things. We're going to get into our core rules about the skill tests. I already explained how that works, where you've got your target number rolling equal to or lower, your difficulty ranks as well. So we also have action points, which are kind of cool, because for every success over what you need to achieve whatever you're looking to accomplish, you get that as an action point. So your group can have up to 6 action points at any one time. and you can spend action points to do different things. So you can use action points to buy 20-sided dice when you're rolling your tests. You can use action points to actually get additional information about the situation that you happen to be in. There are a lot of different ways to spend those action points. We also have luck. So your characters have a luck attribute, which is the number of points that you're going to get each session of luck. So you'll be able to spend those luck points to re-roll dice. You can also use luck points to get additional information or to kind of improve the situation you happen to be in. You can also use those to interrupt initiative in combat so that you can take your turn ahead of when you're supposed to take your turn. So there are a lot of ways. There's different currencies in Fallout, the role-playing game, that the not only players, but also game masters can utilize. And I know a lot of people love it. Some people may find things to be a little confusing with the various different kinds of currency, like the action points and the luck points. Me personally, I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Combat might not be as tactical and detailed as some people might expect from a Fallout game. But myself personally, I think there's enough here to really provide for interesting combat. Now, combat is very lethal. It should be. We are talking about the Wasteland. This is a Fallout game. But, of course, there are a lot of ways for you to negate damage and to survive things that should actually be buying you a dirt nap. So what you're going to do with combat is, once again, you're going to be rolling your 20-sided dice. And, oh, geez, we don't want that. Those are 2 critical failures, actually. So depending on the type of attack, if it's melee or ranged weapon, energy weapon, you're going to have different attributes that you're going to utilize with those weapons. So melee uses strength, the ranged weapons use agility, and energy weapons use perception. You're going to add your skills to those attributes. Once again, it's going to give you your target number, and you're going to roll your dice. Now, if you hit, you're also going to roll damage dice. These are the 6-siders. So the Pip-Boy face represents 1 point of damage and a combat attribute. So certain weapons have combat attributes. So if you get the Pip-Boy, you can use that special trait of that weapon. If you don't get a Pip-Boy, then you don't get to utilize that trait. This represents 1 hit, and that represents 2, or I should say damage, not necessarily hits. So your endurance are your health points. So it is very possible, if you have a low endurance, say 3, you can get knocked out of action relatively quickly. And of course, you're going to be rolling the damage dice based on the weapon that you're using. Now, if you hit, you also roll this 20-sided die. That is our hit location. So as an example there, that'd be the right arm. Now, of course, there are creatures that don't have the traditional bipedal layout. So there are hit location tables for creatures that are not bipedal. So we have various different additional rules to combat. Like I said, some folks out there might be a little disappointed that this isn't as really tactically detailed as they would expect because it is Fallout. But for myself personally, I think it works pretty well. I know there are some people out there who don't like the range bands because we have different range bands like close, medium, long, and extreme. We also have a bunch of different rules as far as healing and being able to stabilize characters who are dying. So NPCs, if they're reduced to 0 endurance, they're dead. Player characters, a little better survivability than that. So we also have our various different perks, and there are a lot of them. such as faster healing, life giver, light step, quick hands, scrapper, tag. And as I mentioned previously, it's these perks and traits that really do make your player characters stand out. Then we got different equipment, some discussion of the Pip-Boy. So all in all, in the rule book, you really do get the core mechanics of Fallout, the role-playing game. The core rulebook itself doesn't have a ton of additional content as far as core rules. So really like the fact that we're not getting kind of a scaled down version of the rule set. We're actually getting essentially the core rules here. Lastly, we also have the adventure. Now, as I had mentioned, I am not going to share any spoilers about this adventure, but as I page through, you are going to see some spoilers. So if you are a player and you have not played Once Upon a Time in the Wasteland, I recommend tune out now. So this actually takes place in the area around Boston, and it's going to give you a classic beginning. That's right, you're going to start in the vault. I thought that was kind of cool. Now, I should point out that Fallout, the role-playing game, like many of the Modiphius Entertainment role-playing games, is scene-based. So you might be surprised because Fallout games tend to be pretty open world. That is not the case here. I know some folks don't really like scene-based role-playing games where it's like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and then scenes within those acts. But I gotta say, the adventures that I have seen for Fallout to this point, including this introductory adventure, are actually really good. And they really capture Fallout. Even if you're not too keen on scene-based role-playing games, you might want to give this one a shot. Because, like I said, the adventures that I've had an opportunity to take a peek at, and I have not seen everything that's out for Fallout, the role-playing game, by any stretch of the imagination. But I really do like the way the adventures are structured. And I also have to say that unlike a lot of starter sets that are out there, this is a long adventure. You are going to get multiple sessions of play out of this adventure. A lot of times with starter sets, we only happen to get a really introductory adventure that might last a session or two. That is certainly not the case with the adventure that's included with the starter set. All right, so that is a look inside the starter set for Fallout, the role-playing game, as well as the discussion of the starter set. Let's swing on over to the other camera because I'm going to share my final thoughts as well as my review score. I guess it's pretty obvious I really do like the starter set for Fallout, the role-playing game. Something I feel super important to mention, and this kind of goes with the territory with Modiphius Entertainment role-playing games, which are based on outside IPs. This really captures Fallout. It does an excellent job of capturing the feel of the Fallout video games. And like I said, this is something we see from Modiphius Entertainment all the time, such as their Dune or Star Trek Adventures, or even Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed Of, which unfortunately Modiphius doesn't have a license to produce anymore. Just phenomenal work capturing the essence of those IPs. And once again, Modiphius Entertainment has hit it out of the park here. I think the adventure is really well done. Granted, yes, it is not open world. It is scene-based. Some people may not enjoy that. Some people may find that it's just kind of a railroad. Not so much, but it is kind of on rails. But the adventure itself is going to keep the players occupied for quite a few sessions, really like that. And it kind of opens up a new locale in the Fallout canon. So I thought that was pretty cool too. And you'll get to see a lot of your favorites from the video games in this adventure. I appreciated that quite a lot as well. I also like the fact that we get the core rules in the rule book. Some starter sets tend to provide a slimmed down system or even a different system entirely. Well, not entirely, but it is different than the actual core game, just as a way to easily onboard people into that game. That's not the case here. We get the core elements of the rule system here. I love that. Now, that's not to say that the core rulebook doesn't have more combat options and gear and creatures and things like that. Of course it does. But in essence, the core mechanics that you find in the starter set are the same exact mechanics that are going to power Fallout, the role-playing game, everywhere else. Really like that a lot. Love the custom dice. Custom dice are practically worth the price of admission alone. And of course, if you get the PDF, you can always order custom dice from Modifius Entertainment, or if you want more custom dice, you can order those from Modifius Entertainment. I do have some minor quibbles, nothing too major. Like I mentioned, I would have liked to have seen the tokens actually represent player characters and NPCs and creatures rather than just be caps. I think that's kind of a lost opportunity there. I think that would have been very, very cool and would have gotten this pretty close to being a 10 out of 10 as far as a review score. So, yeah, I kind of got that issue. I do wish that we had images on the pre-generated characters, just kind of bring them to life a little bit more for your players. And I will say that I am kind of surprised that the combat is as abstract as it is. It's not completely abstract, but I would have thought it would have been a little more detailed. Of course, I'm fine with it, but I probably would have liked to have it a little more crunch in the combat. That's about it, really. That's the only negatives I have to say. So on a score of 0 to 10, I give Fallout, the role-playing games starter set, a 9 out of 10. It is that good. Oh, so close to getting up there to a 10. But if you have any interest whatsoever in role-playing in the world of the Fallout video games, this is simply a must-own. And at the current sale price, smoking deal as well. All right, that is it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do, be sure to ring that bell because it'll not only let you know when I share videos such as this review, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit gaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you just won't find here on the channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and until I see you next time, here's hoping all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.